Oh, God.
You're gonna test out a Honda, you gotta have the proper ride gear on. Alright, today's gem is a 1999 Honda FourTrax 300 4x4. These things are known for being super indestructible.
What are you going to check first?
Just basic maintenance. We're going to pop the seat up. You got a latch over here on the left side. Seat off. Got your earbox right underneath the seat. 4 clips. Release those. Does have a brand new air filter, so that's a good sign.
No mouse nest?
No, clear. So if you want to come over on the other side, I'm going to just pull the fuel line and we'll see if we got fuel flow coming out of the tank. So we're going to remove the fuel line, and just looking at that, you can see it's cracked up right around the petcock, so we'll end up replacing that. I'm thinking it's going to pull right off. No force. Fuel's looking good. Alright, we're going to go after the tank. We have a 12 millimeter hole in the backside on here. Taking it off.
So you're taking it off for what?
To get the carb. We're going to do a carb clean on this.
Okay. You think it could just be a simple carb clean?
Yeah, like I said, these things are pretty indestructible. It's pretty hard to hurt them. So that's where my bet's at. All right, tank is no longer on. All right, to get the carb out, we have a little brace. Then we're going to have the boot coming from the airbox. It's going to be a Phillips. You just go after the front one right away. And over here. Actually, they're both on my side. Thinking to make our job easier, we're going to just pull that airbox right out of there. It's not too much of a ordeal. We have 2 8 millimeters on the back of the airbox. This is your air intake here. That's going into the airbox. Loosen that guy up. And then wiggle with the screwdriver.
It's a big screwdriver.
Actually, I take that back. We're going to leave that in there and wiggle this carb out. Honda did a good job packing it in there, but there we be. All right, we're going to disconnect the choke here. 14 millimeter. And the plan is to get this running good today and go see what it's capable of. We just happen to have a little mud here in springtime Wisconsin, so it's a handlebar operated choke. You can see the plunger moving back and forth freely, so that's good. Now we have to get the throttle cable unhooked. Just a little plastic cover over the cable here. All right, so we got to disconnect the throttle cable. You can just take your finger, push up on that throttle assembly, wiggle that cable out, and then we should just loosen up this 10 millimeter here and should be able to thread out that cable. This is just going to be a little breather hose on the side of the carb. Pull that off. Carb's out. So let's take it apart and see what we find on the inside. All right, so we got the carb out on the bench. This is an OEM key and carb from Honda. This is a vacuum operated slide, so we're on the top. We can zip off the cap and we should have a rubber diaphragm in there. It's always a good idea just to check the condition of that. If there's any cracks or tears in it, it's not going to operate properly. Got your top, your spring, and then your diaphragm. The orientation is always pretty easy. There's a little notch right here that you're going to want to line up. Put it back together. There you go. You just want to go around this outer part here, check for any cracks or tears. That looks like it's in good shape. Always check your spring, make sure it's not too loose in there. Right off the bat, you can see the inside here. It's definitely a good candidate for a clean. We got a bunch of stuff that we don't inside your carburetor. All right, let's go with the float bowl. If you haven't taken apart one of these carbs, this is going to be your idle adjustment right on the bottom here, black knob. And that's just going to push up and down on your throttle mechanism. Got 4 Phillips on the bottom of your carb here. Now those are going to be a little longer. The top screws are going to be about half as long. All right. So yeah, typically what you'll see on a carburetor that's been sitting around a few years, if you look in there, clean it with my finger, you get all this nasty water gas mixture probably, and that's going to cause bad run conditions. All right, digging a little further into the carb, we've got 3 jets that you want to pop out. This is going to be your main jet, your pilot jet, and then this is like your mid jet here. Main jet looks nice and clear. pilot jet. Always like to hold it up to a bright light. See if you can see through there. It's going to be a super small hole. I would say maybe partially opened at best. Now we're going to remove the float. Just pull out the pin there. Float. This is your needle. It's got a little rubber bottom on it. You always just want to make sure that it's still pliable. And this is your needle seat. And if it's ever leaking fuel, it's always a good place to check. If you get any dirt sitting in there where that rubber seat's supposed to be sealing it shut, that'll cause issues for you. Then we have this little jet on the side. And that's looks pretty open.
How many carburetors do you think you've cleaned in your life?
Too many. And this is going to be your fuel screw right here. You always want to check it first by seeing how far it was turned out. So you turn it in and count the turns. I always go by half, so half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.25.
That thing looks crusty.
A little crusty. Now when you're checking to see how many turns in before it seats, that's just to snug. You definitely don't want to be putting too much force turning that in, because it's a really fine little point there, and you can
And I see it really tiny.
Yep. All right, overall, not terrible. I think the biggest mess is all this black stuff up here where the diaphragm is. So we're gonna throw this in the ultrasonic cleaner and give it 15 minutes and we'll come back to you.
What are you putting in this fancy
All right.
machine?
So our carburetor is going to get a little ultrasonic bath. I use a little concoction of just ultrasonic cleaning solution and then a little simple green. Fire it up, turn it on. We'll let it cook for 30 minutes. And she goes.
I'm guessing you don't put the jets in there.
Jets can go in there.
Oh.
Get her cooking at 175 degrees and we'll check her back in 30 minutes. All right, fresh out of the ultrasonic cleaner. Looking much better.
That's way better.
We'll get in there with some compressed air, get it all dried out and blow out all the passages. Here's our float bowl. Looking much better. Yeah, it just spurted. So this is kind of like a little accelerator pump. And a lot of people don't know that those 300s have. If it's been sitting a while, you'll have gas in the float bowl, obviously, and you can push this little primer in and squirt some gas into the carb. Fish out our cap.
That thing works awesome.
Looking great. All right. We have our pilot, our main, and our starter jet. That should be it. All right, like I said, you just want to blow out all the passages now that you have the carb open up like this. So that accelerator pump comes up, pumps fuel through that hole there, through this passage, and this is the outlet here, and it'll shoot gas into the carburetor.
Now I gotta put this baby back together.
Yep, we have a pilot light yet.
Charging.
Main jet. Pilot. Your needle. Slides in that groove there. Drop it into the seat. Put the pin back in. You can always take a peek. Make sure that needle is sliding up and down in that seat. Good. So guys, slides in like that. Get the float bolt back in there. Always check out your gasket. This is actually looking, it's above the casting. Four screws going back in. You don't have to go crazy tight on these. If you drive them in, then just snug them up by hand. All right, our air screw. There's a little O-ring gasket on the end there. This actually appears to be in good shape. We have a small washer and then another O-ring that holds everything together, seals it up. And when you put this back in, it's always good practice to go from the bottom up like that so the stuff's not falling off your needle. And like I said, we're gonna turn this in. To lightly seated, right there, and we're gonna go out 2 1/4 turns. Half, 1, 1 1/2, 2 1/4. All right. Get this guy back in there. If you have any issues with it going in there, sometimes that needle might not drop down into that tube. So just make sure it's dropping nice. We're gonna line up our bump out there and then just lightly press that diaphragm all the way in. Spring. And on this cover, you can see the little notch there. That's going to go right over that little bump out. Spring on. And I always like to test it before I put those screws in. You can take your finger and push up on that slide, and you should feel a little resistance. That's that diaphragm filling with air. So that's working good. We have our 4 short screws.
Gotta have some dexterity for this.
Yeah, old fingers don't work as well. All right, and then just get them a little snug with the hand screwdriver. And we'll check that slide one last time. Now that's all back together. Make sure we still have that resistance. And it's coming down. See how it drops down slower? It's just not snapping back. That's good. All right, now we're going to put everything back, reverse order. All right, first thing to do is get that throttle cable back on there. You're going to just go over to the, you can see that slot. That's where your cable's going to drop through. Spin it around. Come over to the threaded part. Turn that back in. Tighten it up with a 10 millimeter. And before we go any further, here's your throttle butterfly in there right now. You can see, can you see it's fully closed? Just hit the throttle.
See up close.
Closed right now. Just operate your throttle and you can see the butterfly is fully open. That means you got your cable tension correct. Get your plastic cover back on.
What you doing there?
Reconnected our vent line to the left side of the carb. We've got our choke. Now this is just a plastic fitting, so you definitely want to make sure you have it lined up, the threads are lined up, because if you get those cross-threaded, you're going to have a mess. And again, it's plastic, so just snug. All right, we are ready to snake it back in there. This is definitely the most challenging part of the whole job. Just take your time. You want to break off your plunger on the bottom and be careful with your choke, because again, that's plastic, so don't be going randomly jamming it back in there. You got this far. So close. Jen, if you just want to hold this back boot up. All right, there we go.
You got it.
And when you get that boot back on there, just make sure that you get it sealed all the way. I like to start the bottom end first. So close.
There you got it.
There we are. And just get down low, make sure that rear boot is sealed equally from the top all the way down. All right, we got the Phillips in the front. One on the back. You confident this is going to fire up and purr like a Honda?
Yes. Purr, baby, purr.
I'm going to do some rock climbing then? Are you going to do some rock climbing on
I
this?
think you're gonna do the rock climbing.
And if you remember, we loosened up this rear clamp on our intake. Just make sure everything gets tightened back down. You want everything to be air and watertight. Two weights on the back of the air box. We didn't need to remove, but we're extremely thorough. We did it anyways. Is there a little 8?
Sit by her over there. All right, give me a carburetor quiz.
Give you a carburetor quiz,
Yeah,
huh?
give me a quiz question.
I think you're supposed to give me a quiz question, aren't you?
No, I'm learning.
What are we forgetting so far here, Jen? What needs to go on next?
Fuel line.
Well, yeah, but how about
That little plate.
this little plate? A lot of people forget this. And without that, this is where your seat slides in. So without that plate, your front of your seat's gonna be bouncing around.
Nobody wants that.
We like it when Jen interacts with us, don't we? I'm of a worker and not so much of a talker. All right, 412s. Like Jen was saying, we got our gas tank and fuel line.
Are you impressed I knew that?
You are amazing. All right, I'm gonna be working right where you're standing.
Okay.
What we're going for now is Honda's got these two, what do you want to call those, Jen? Alignment, whatever, there's rubber
little
bumpers
guide.
on the front here.
Yeah, guide.
That's gonna hold down the front of the tank. So you gotta make sure the camel's lined up. All right. First error. Fuel line's gonna go down underneath.
I was wondering about that, but I didn't want to sound stupid.
Well, come over on this side.
Sure.
I'll show you what I was looking at. Okay, in my defense, I was looking at this little notch. I'm like, wow, Honda did a nice job.
Yeah. What is the notch for then?
Well, I was thinking, oh, the fuel line's
this?
gonna run. No, so the notch is for our vent.
Were we supposed to put that down before putting the carb back
Well,
in?
yeah, we got room. We got room. Clip even stayed with it. All right. Oh, look at that, Honda.
Oh, Honda.
Gotta
They
love that.
think of everything.
Two little clips there. All right. Round two. Good. Holes lined up there. Get her lined up. Send her home. Reconnect our fuel line. Turn it on. All right. Who thinks we're in business?
I think we're in business. This little guy.
Turn her on. Give her a little choke. Just for documentation that we haven't been running this or anything, here's the exhaust, right?
Right.
See my little fingers on there?
Yep.
There it goes.
Woohoo!
Choke. No choke. Love it.
Oh my God. Let's see. Let's see the full.
Buying, fixing, and testing the unstoppable Honda FourTrax 4x4.